Hello guys, so in this video I'm going to show how to build a page builder with directus as a backend. So here we have our collection pages and we can simply add a new page, give it a name, example, set it to published, give it some title, some description, and you can choose predefined blocks. For example, let's take a hero block. Give it some text and some FAQs. And some features. And just like that, you can build your page. You can move them around, sort them however you want, and save them. And we made it example. And there we have it. Also a sitemap, example fitness something. Yeah. So it's pretty great. Alright, so how do we approach this project? So usually you would start with planning and designing the individual blocks or sections you want to use later on. But for the sake of this tutorial, we will simply use the existing craft library components and then later on set up directus and the according uh, collection items for each block. So let's switch over to Webstudio, create a new dynamic page. Let's go to the landing pages and give it a dynamic URL. Close Slack. All right, and let's make a page wrapper. And let's choose the components we want to use later on. So let's get into craft library, and we would like a hero with an image, and a hero section without an image, and feature section, and a CTA. And FAQs. Yeah, let's choose this one. All right, so two heroes, feature, CTA, and that's it. All right, so let's get over to directus. I have a fresh installation of directus hosted on PicoPods, and we will start with installing a SEO extension because it makes it super easy to set up the meta description and page title. All right, that's installed. And let's start with creating the collections. So we make a block hero with image and type UUID. So we do not have any key problems later on. We do not need these, but let's have a look. Over in Webstudio, we have eyebrow, heading, subheading, and the button we will leave the same. And it's the same for the other hero section without an image. Okay, so let's choose eyebrow. String is fine. another input with heading and subheading. All right, block here and image, of course. Yep, that's fine. All right, block hero with image. Let's make block hero UID and exactly the same. Eyebrow. Heading. And subheading. All right. Hero block feature. So let's choose 3 features for directus, CMS, and 1 subheading. Make it a little bit easier. So block feature UID and start with a subheading feature 1, feature 2, and feature 3. All right. Then CTA section, and let's make it only with a toggle, so we can decide if we want it or not. Block CTA UID and simply a toggle. And last but not least, the FAQs. Block FAQ. And here we also have 1 subheading and then several question and answers. So subheading, and this is called a repeater. FAQs. And what fields do we have? We have a question. It is a string as an input, and an answer. Let's choose text because string has a character limit of 255 characters, if I'm not mistaken, and with text it's pretty much unlimited. So to be on the safe side, choose text. All right, that's it. Looks good. All right. So we set up the according block items. Next up is the pages collection. And here I like to have the slug as a manually entered string, as the key field. And here we want status, date created, date updated. And very important to set the slug to slugify, so make the entered value URL safe. All right. So we want to have a CEO here, so to be able to set the page title and page description. And now we will build the page builder by itself. So we need a many to any relationship, and let's just call this blocks, and related collections are all blocks. So it's easy when you start with block to identify them. All right. We only want to create new ones because we will not save them. So you can uncheck this. And what's also very handy is to set a sort field so we can even sort the blocks later on. It will create a new item or new field. All right. Now if we go in here, we have all these individual blocks, but these are useless because we do not want to set them here. So we will hide them. So make collection hidden, only the pages collection. And we can put it in here. So it's cleaned up and we know it belongs to the pages. All right, looks good. We did the pages collection. We can make a test page and let's give it a try. So let's name it test, make it published. And here we can choose whatever we want. So let's start with a hero. Let's make from each block CTA. Let's create an item of each block. FAQ, common questions. All right, some example image. And here CTA FAQ. So feature is left. All right. Let's put the CTA to the bottom. All right. Great. Now let's set up access policies and permissions. So we will go to public. So we do not need any authentications. And we need all collections. And we need, yes, we have everything. And we need to have read access on all of these. All right. And what I always like to do is go in here to pages and set status to publish. So we only can query the pages that are set to publish. So we do not have to make some additional logic in Webstudio. All right, so directus is fully set up. Let's get the URL and go over to Postman and build our query. And we do have to use GraphQL because it's not possible to make these nested requests with the REST API. So we have to use GraphQL. So simply use your domain /GraphQL, and then Postman already queries all the collections. And we want to have the pages. And let's make a query of that. And we see we have test for now, but these will be all the pages. So we want to filter for one page always. So for the individual Slack page. So we want to filter for test. And yes, it worked. It still came back test. And now we want to have all the blocks that we set. So if we check this, okay, so we need to set all the items as well. These are all the items inside blocks, and we need to check them to query them. All right, and now we do get all the blocks we set. But we do not need all these IDs, so let's uncheck them to make it easier later on. But the collection name here is important. We need that later on. All right, looks pretty good. So let's grab the URL and head back to Webstudio. And let's create a new resource. Let's call it page GraphQL. That's the URL. So then let's grab the query. And we also do need a GraphQL variable. So we're gonna set this in here. We'll name this Slack and it's system. Oh, didn't set it dynamic. System.params.Slack. All right, and we need to declare it up here before the query. So $Slack is a string. Then we can use it here in the actual filter. All right, let's give it a shot, and it looks good because I set the Slack in here. So now we do have all the data here. So how do we do this now? So we need a collection, and let's set all the blocks in here. Take page data pages blocks, and now we have the array. All right. And now we take our sections, our already designed sections, and put them in here. And we can get rid of that. And as you can see, whatever we do inside this div gets copied across all the collection items. So how do we do this? So we only want to have this section visible when it is in the collection. So in each of these divs, you can see there's one of these blocks. So that's the block with hero, with the image. That's the hero section without an image, and so on. So whenever there is the block here, we want to have this one visible. So we go in here, take the collection item, and check if the current collection item has block hero as a name. And as you can see in the other sections, it already got disabled. Oh, I made a mistake. It should be, this is the section with the image. So let's make it different. This is the one we actually want. right. And here in this one, it is the next item, we have the block hero with image. So if it is the case, block hero with image. All right, and it's the same here. Collection. Oh, we didn't go to the next collection. Yep. Now we have the block feature. Collection item, collection. Block FAQ. So choose the corresponding. And in the last block, we have the CTA block. All right. And now, as you can see, each block is here once. And now we simply need to bind the data. All right, and now in the accordion, we need another collection. And let's put the items inside. And for the collection, we will link to the actual FAQs. So collection item.FAQs, and we have another array. All right, and collection item.question and answer. All right, great. We already set up the CTA. And what else is there to do? Page title. Page.data.data. The title. And let's uncheck this. And let's publish it. Meanwhile, we can make some more examples. I don't know, fitness, whatever. And let's start with a hero. we want to have a CTA. All right. How did the publishing go? Looks good. Let's give it a try. And not slug, but test. And there we go. What about fitness? There we go. All right. So there's only one thing left to do. Make test page we did, set up permissions, GraphQL, and one more thing is let's create a sitemap. All right. Oops. Yes, sitemap. And to the dynamic, let's create our resource. Let's head over to directus, pages. Not admin, not content, but under items. Oops. All right. But we do not need all of these data, so we only need the slug, date created, date updated. Yep. Perfect. And what else you should do is set the limit to -1, otherwise it will not query more than 100, and with limit -1 it will always get back all the items. And what I also like to do is I like to keep one test page where all the sections are in, so you can easily make changes to these sections here in Webstudio. But I would like this to hide from Google, so I create a filter, and I filter for slug, and it should be not equal to test. And now we will get all the pages back except test. Location. Oh, we need to set it here. This should be pages data. Yeah. Dynamic item either updated, otherwise take so if date updated it does exist, take it, otherwise take date created. Yep, looks like a jump. All right, awesome. All right, I think that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and see you in the next one.